My name is Bonolo Makgale, and I'm from Center for Human Rights at the University of Pretoria. We actually, as a center, organized this event, and I was pioneering it. One, on a more technical level, we have a partnership. We've signed an MOU with Pan-African Parliament last year, and part of the agreement and objectives out of the MOU is to ensure that Pan-African Parliament intentionally engages with civil society organizations in Africa, but also increase the visibility of PAP, because there is a recognition that PAP is underutilized. There is a recognition that a lot of Africans aren't aware of PAP. There are some skeptical remarks as well, that is PAP relevant or not. And so this session essentially was trying to create an entry point to civil society organization in Gauteng, particularly, before we venture into a bigger civil society organization forum in Kigali at the Pan-African session. And so my heart for this essentially today was to gather civil society organizations that are working in different areas. I mean, we had people that are working in extractive industry. We had organizations working with a specific focus on governance, on public policy, on various important issues around Africa. And it's important to note that the presence of civil society in Africa, and there's been such a huge and a continuous emergence of civil society stepping in as watchdogs, stepping in as those that are reinforcing good governance, as those that are stepping in to keep local states accountable, stepping in to speak of transparency that is needed for accountability and good governance. So the room was quite rich because there was a diversity of thought, and there were people that are covering multiple thematic important issues on Africa's development, Africa's human rights, Africa's governance, Africa's democracy, Africa's transparency. And we were even briefly able to touch on the AU theme for 2018 and 2019, the anti-corruption theme, particularly on issues of illicit financial flows. So, and even the contributors, their presentations were rich, their presentations were well thought, their presentations had such an impeccable sense of intellectualism, such an impeccable sense of academia, but equally, there was a great balance between theory and practice. So there were organizations that shared things that they've done practically, and then we had people coming from academia at the University of Pretoria as well, bringing forth that academic element to the conversation. So I think it was rich, and their outcomes, like I said, we're looking forward to having another forum in Kigali, and this forum in Kigali will essentially, or rather we are hoping that it will assist in breaching the gaps that exist between Pan-African Parliament and civil society, and find ways to establish formal mechanisms of how civil society can meaningfully engage with PAP and vice versa. We are hoping that we would have also a well-coordinated structure within the structures of Pan-African Parliament, so that civil society does not just engage on an ad hoc level, but there is clear structure and set out relationship, partnership ways of engaging.